I went from changing my routines every single week to maintaining laser focus for over 10 hours daily. By the end of this video, you will align with your goals better and focus like never before. I'll break down the problem, the cause, and the solution step by step. So grab your notes. And let's start with the problem. Imagine you were a video editor and your client asked you to edit a video. You edited the video fairly quickly within just 1 week and you were happy with the results. But then you started thinking about optimizing the process, optimizing the editing, optimizing the software, optimizing the workflow, etc. That took you extra 3 weeks. So your client was delayed by 3 weeks. Your initial video you could have given to him in just 1 week, but you instead gave it to them 3 weeks delayed. So that is total 4 weeks. What you did in that time was perhaps try and make proper folders for proxies, maybe install and try different video editing softwares, which wasn't your primary focus because you are already using Premiere Pro to edit. In that extra 3 weeks, what you did was a total waste of time. You tried optimizing a process which was already concrete. You tried to make a process more efficient which was already working fine. And therefore, you not only just wasted the time, but you also could not deliver more results to more clients and therefore earn more. If you have studied physics, you definitely know the difference between distance and displacement. And for those of you who haven't, let me tell you, distance is like going from point A to point B in any manner possible. So here is point A, here is point B. You just go as you feel like it. You maybe go from point A to maybe point C, just stop there for some time, and then maybe point D to just have a chat with your friends for some reason, and then go to point B. It took you a whole long journey to go from point A to point B. That is what you are currently focusing on and you are actually doing right now. Instead, what you have to follow is displacement. Here again, point A, point B. Displacement is the shortest way from point A to B, which is a straight line. So here is point A, here is point B, and here is a straight line in between them. This is the fastest way for going from point A to point B. This is what you should apply. And instead, you are going about some random ways because you just think optimizing is like a new meta. And if you did not already know, then let me tell you, what you are improving on is just the basics. You are trying to approach basics in 100 ways, which is not only wasting your time, but also costing your future growth because you could have spent the time on working harder on something that you already know works. Let me tell you with an example. If you already know bicep curls work for your biceps, why the hell are you on YouTube trying to find the best 5 bicep exercises? Because that is just retarded. You already know what works, and instead of doing that, you are spending 10 or 20 or 30 minutes on YouTube. That will probably make you change your routine and then change your habits and then overall make a huge mess in your already established system. And that has no benefits. And before telling you about the psychology, I would just like to quickly plug, if you really want to focus more and remove the modern day distractions, you can go and check out my focus course. The link is in the description. And with that, let me tell you about the psychology of why it arises. So there is one word that you have to keep in your mind for the rest of the video. It is novelty. Novelty basically means getting a dopamine hit from something new. And novelty is of quite many forms. So novelty as an example can be you finding out some weird type of exercises for your chest or your hands or your back or whatever it is, and you will actually feel, when the guy will tell you on YouTube, you will actually feel like this guy actually is making sense because he will tell you some really epic stuff about being functional with your body, being very much flexible or being anything like that, instead of actually the results that you want. The results you want are probably related to muscle, and he will tell you about functionality, which you will agree with for some reason because he is good at delivering the message. Now, what will happen as a result is you will try to make different sets of workout routines and you will already de-establish your base of workouts that you previously had and will try to do something new, something better, something more science-backed, let's say. And this is important because most of the people nowadays are trying to sell to you some productivity tactics which are very science-based, some workout routines which are very science-based, and ultimately what happens is when you skip the basics and when you skip mastering the basics, the scientific does not give you shit. The science is definitely better, but you have to understand the science is improving too. So it is not just that the studies have directly shown that this kind of input is correlated with this kind of output, but it's more like the study itself is evolving. Many of the people who used to believe in 1 gram per pound of body weight are finding themselves in kind of a skewed position, because the reality is now, according to the new meta-analysis, it's 0.81. So try to understand the fact that science itself is evolving. It is not currently fixated, and the research that is done on a small group of people, and even if at mass, done on 1,000 people at max, because running a research is costly. So ultimately what is happening is these kinds of research are coming out and people are just hyping it up way too much than expected. So instead what you have to do is stick to the basics that you already know. The ulterior reason why your brain is hooked onto these optimizations is because your brain confuses motion with progress. On one hand, we have motion. Motion is being in the state of busyness. It's like handling a lot of tasks, but which don't actually move something in your life. The examples of motion can be like checking your emails, checking your messages, checking your DMs, or maybe ordering a new pair of gym shorts or anything like that, which is not directly moving you closer to your goals. On the other hand, we have progress, which means you actually doing the bicep curl. I don't know why I'm stuck on biceps today, but here we go. You doing the actual bicep curls, which is initiating pain in your biceps, and that is why you're getting the progress, because the muscle is torn apart and then it is rebuilt, and as a result you get better muscles and larger volume and larger density, and that is why you get progress. So on the one hand, we have motion, which looks like progress. This is an important point and I want you to write down in that notes. This looks like progress, but this is not really progress, because the real progress is on the other side. It is actually doing the things which is moving you closer to your goals, as opposed to you doing things that seem to move you towards your goals. So this is, and I am emphasizing it again, the distinction between getting progress and feeling like getting progress. And now I'll tell you the solutions. And before that, you need to know an analogy. The analogy between motorboat and cruise ship. Your life currently looks like a motorboat. You are learning so many new things, so many new hacks, so many new tips, tricks, and routines, and a whole bunch of shit, which is both good and bad, and you're trying to apply it all at once. This is why you are changing your direction every week. Some people change their directions every 3 days. They have this newfound plan, this newfound roadmap, this newfound strategy that they try to implement, and after 3 or 4 days, when the dopamine rush settles down, they just stop doing it and they just look for something new. Remember the dopamine concept and the novelty concept. And now, the cruise ship. The cruise ship is totally different. It sets a direction and just goes towards it. It has a destination. It is not meant for speed. It is meant for accuracy. The motorboat, on the other hand, is meant for speed and changing directions too quickly. It's kind of like ADHD. On the other hand, you have stillness, like a monk who represents this cruise ship right now, because it just goes in the direction and it knows which direction to go in at the same time. You have to become the cruise ship as opposed to the motorboat. The solution is quite simple, and the real thing that you have to understand, that you have already done the heavy lifting, is why it happens and how it happens. You have already learned those, and that is why the solution is going to feel very easy as compared to the mental workload that you have put in understanding the concept. So the solution is a before, now, duration journaling method. In this method that I personally use, what you will do is you will write down 2 statements with 3 variables. The first statement is going to be the action that you used to perform previously. For example, before now, I used to change my workout routines every week. That is going to be the first variable, the before variable. In the first sentence, write that down, or at least make a note of writing it down after watching the video, that before today or before now, I used to do XYZ. And now the second line. The second line will have 2 variables. Number 1, after. Number 2, duration. And it will be phrased something like this: I will stick to the workout routine that I have most recently made for at least 30 days. So here it encompasses two variables. The first is after and the second is duration. The after variable states before now you used to do XYZ and after now you will do something else. And the duration variable states for how long, because this part is actually overlooked by many but is the most important step, because previously you have tried to make the decisions like, all right, this is going to be the final workout routine that I stick to for the entirety of my life and all of that nonsense. None of it has worked because you have not ever specified, and your brain thinks of indefinite timelines as being non-existent. Understand what I've just said. Your brain thinks indefinite timelines are non-existent. That means your brain compares having an indefinite timeline to having no timeline at all. And here indefinite also means infinite. When you constrain yourself to only focus on this particular workout routine that you have made most recently for at least 30 days, you are giving your brain certainty that, all right, as in your brain, I will only do this for 30 days and after that I can go back to my old habits of doing the workout and then switching the workout routines. You're allowing your brain to switch the workout routines, but only after those 30 days have passed. And the crazy thing is, in that 30 days, you will realize that your current workout routine is not actually bad. And that is why you will rewire your brain to not actually in the future change the workout routine again. So it's kind of like a bit of mental tug of war that you have to play with your brain, because humans are inherently not logical creatures, even though we have created so many logical frameworks like mathematics and physics and whatever not. Humans themselves are definitely not logical because we are emotional fucking creatures. So you have to understand that, and you have to deal with your brain as if you're dealing with a child. You have to tell the child, all right, you're allowed the cookies, but only after you finish your homework. Similarly, you're allowed to change your workout routine, but only after you do 30 days of that previous recently made workout routine. And workout is just one of the examples, and you can apply this framework to anything. And once you apply it, you will actually see the results. And so, if you really want to get rid of all the distractions in your life and beat your competition by focusing like never before, you can go and check out the link in the description. It will take you to my focus course, and it is currently on a pre-sale, so the price is very much lowered as compared to the original price that I'm going to set it at. So you can lock in your spot now and get better than the rest of your competition. And with that, as always, start if you haven't already.